Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another Minecraft stream, and I am going to play some Minecraft. How many times did I say Minecraft just now? Legit. Anyways, okay. Let's play some Minecraft.
For broadband, it was a surprise to me that about a quarter of Maryland's population does not have access to the internet. You point out that there are big internet gaps in DC too, Tom Sherwood.
Yeah, it's not a digital divide; it's a digital gulf. You know, the Maryland's getting about $4 billion of money. 300 million will be going to expand broadband around the state. Virginia is trying to do that too. I think the mayor probably would agree. It's a crime that the digital divide across the country hurts the poor working people the most, who just simply don't have access to it. But you know, that's a lot of money. You know, I would just say overall in the district in Maryland and Virginia, this time last year there was nothing but horror facing the leaders out there about what had to be cut, what could be done during this horrible pandemic. And now, a year later, with the passing of the Biden Act, $1.9 trillion, all the jurisdictions now have money. There will be real fights. The mayor knows this. She's putting the budget together for 2020, April 22nd, I think. There's a lot of money now available that wasn't available, even just because it's going on. And right now, Mr. Farabee, for the school system, is being grilled by council members about why he has cut the budget of more than 10 dozen schools. And so there's a lot that happens between now and April 22nd, so maybe we can get to the mayor.
We'll get to the mayor very quickly. Mayor Bowser, it is my understanding that you'd like to kick off the new politics hour with an announcement of a new appointment.
That is true, and we're very pleased to be welcoming Dr. Amber Hewitt to DC government, and she is going to be the district's first chief equity officer. So we have a wonderful opportunity talking about COVID and the unprecedented year that we've had with the pandemic, with the reckoning on race, with the economic uncertainty that's come along with it all. We want to make sure moving into our recovery that we have an eye on how we can equitably recover. So we welcome Amber. She's going to join a great team in the CA's office to help us make sure we're keeping an eye on racial equity as we recover from COVID.
And of course, if we're talking about racial equity in the city, it includes the conversation we were just having about those people, especially in the more challenged areas of the city, who do not have internet access. Is that one of the issues that somebody like an equity officer can be looking at?
Absolutely, and I think the eye for this office, which was established with a recent council initiative, is that the chief equity officer works with us on budget and on initiatives and everything else that the agencies are doing. The council created for itself an office that will look at legislation, all the actions moving through the council, and provide a racial equity similar to the financial analysis that goes with all of the legislation that goes to the council.
All right.
Our guest is Mayor Emilio Bowser of the District of Columbia. If you have questions or comments, refer to the call.
All right, let's fish.
8850. Send us an email at kojo@wnu.org, or you can send us a tweet at Politics Hour. You can reach us on Facebook at The Politics Hour. In a minute, we have left time show. Talk about Virginia Governor Malcolm signing a Voting Rights Act, given what we're seeing going on in Georgia.
Well, Kojo, I have to put my notes away on that.
Let's go and fish.
The governor.
Yeah, because like pretty much I just need to get food. Honestly,
it approved the voting rights and make sure people that local governments can't change voting rules unless their attorney general agrees.
Okay, and we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with DC Mayor Muriel Bowser. You can give us a call at 800-433-8850. I'm Kojo Nandi.
12:32, you're listening to WAMU 88.5. I'm Jerry Mitchell. With support from members, WAMU can deliver the shows and essential news coverage that keep you and this community informed. Your donation makes a difference for this important public service. Give today at WAMU.org. And thanks.
This is Rob Bamberger, host of Hot Jazz Saturday Night. It's been written about trumpeter Bunny Berrigan that he projected not only his magnificent sound, but his heart and soul as well. In 1937, he led his own big band and made his signature recording of I Can't Get Started. We'll get started at 7 tomorrow night. Bunny Berrigan and his orchestra on Hot Jazz Saturday Night here on WAMU 88.5.
Tomorrow for veterans and service members today.
Alright, let's go ahead and fish.
WGL Energy, providing clean energy solutions for the DC metro area. More at WGLenergy.com/WAMU. Ipsen Solar, serving homeowners and businesses in the DMV with solar energy systems and Tesla Powerwall water storage. They help save the planet while reducing your utility bill and help to combat climate change. More at IPSUNsolar.com.
Alright, and I'm gonna go ahead and look on my phone. It's these sheeps.
Welcome back. Our guest is Neil Bowser, the mayor of the District of Columbia. Mayor Bowser, let's start with the vaccine rollout. You keep hearing from your administration that DC needs more vaccines. According to the new DC Health Dashboard, only 76% of DC doses have been administered, one of the lowest rates in the country. But you say that's because we have imperfect data. Can you explain what's going on?
No, Kojo, we know that we're at 76% of the doses that DC government has received. What were the numbers we quarrel with are coming out of the CDC for the numbers of doses that are available in federal agencies or other federal programs. So we continue to ask people to go get registered at vaccinate.dc.gov. We continue to make groups available and we are targeted to make people over the age of 16 eligible for vaccine at the beginning of May.
Tom Sherwood?
And Mayor, before I ask you a political question, if you register, whatever your age and eligibility, how quickly do you think you'll get the substantial portion of the state vaccinated? Whatever it is, 80% or whatever it is you're supposed to reach.
Well, we know when the vaccine starts flowing, and we know several weeks in advance what we're getting from the federal government, but we don't know all the way through the program. So that's why it's difficult for me to say when exactly everyone will get their vaccine. But we're seeing more and more supplies each week. Our team thinks at some point we're no longer going to be talking about how we don't have enough vaccines, but making sure that the people who haven't yet come around to register for the vaccine get registered. So we'll be moving from a supply problem to making sure we have a focus on demand.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, if you have a further question, go ahead.
Yes, I do have a couple question. Let me go with the focus. Go ahead, first. Mayor Bowser, you and DC Health Director Sandra Nesbitt are asking all DC residents and those who work here to pre-register for COVID vaccine. Because in Italy that's enough, how should residents pre-register?
They simply need to go to vaccinate.dc.gov. We also have a call center, Kojo, that's on our website. I'm not going to remember the number off the top, but I'll make sure I get it to you before we go on. So vaccinate.dc.gov to register, and I'll give you a phone number to call as well.
And who right now is eligible to get the vaccine?
There's a long list of people eligible, people over the age of 65, people in DC who are between the ages who are over 16 who have a qualifying medical condition, and there's a long list of qualifying medical conditions, as well as several several groups of essential workers, including healthcare workers, childcare workers, teachers, police officers, firefighters, and many, many others.
Tom Sherwood.
Yeah. Maryland and Virginia both are dropping eligibility to register for a vaccine to the age of 16 later this month. Is the district going to be on that same time frame?
We'll be on it at the beginning of May, as we indicated many, many weeks ago.
Okay, good. Now, here's the politics. Welcome to the Politics Hour. I know you're glad Pedro has retired from his daily show, but he's going to keep the Politics Hour each Friday.
No, I'm delighted by that, and I hope that everybody in DC realizes that as well. We're so happy for Kojo to earn some retirement time, but we would just miss him too much if we didn't have him here on Fridays.
Okay, maybe you'll get a better sidekick in a moment, in a week.
Alright, let's go.
And
And what should we
about whether
do?
you'll run for another term.
What to do,
When you
what to
first
do,
ran
what to do.
For the 2014, where you announced in
Well,
March
I mean, it's
2013,
definitely not
more than
the
you had to be
yet, so,
kept. You know, so you are. When you ran for the 2018 term, you announced in September of 2017, 6 months later than you did for your first run. Where are you now in terms of making a final decision on a third term? And when do you think you'll make that up?
Well, Tom, first of all, I'll tell you where exactly we are. We are responding to a pandemic. We are focused on economic recovery of the district. And you're right. Thank you for pointing to all of those timelines in my past. And I usually get into a campaign when I know I can focus on it and give it all I've got and get to all the people across all 8
Alright,
wards. So
let's go.
that
Let's go.
timeline is forthcoming.
Alright, let's see. Fish, definitely.
Well, I wouldn't say right now, but my attention, as you can imagine, is on our continued response, vaccine rollout. We have a budget to get to the council, and all of those things are really required.
First of all, I expected her to make an announcement for third term, and I want to just note, Carl Racine, the Attorney General, pretty well gave it clear to his friends he's not going to run for mayor. And he made it publicly clear he's not going to run for re-election as Attorney General. So it'll be interesting to see if there are any opponents to the mayor who start forming their own campaigns this fall.
Plus, the mayor has to get permission from somebody named Miranda first, but that's another story.
Exactly, Kojo. Thank you.
Here's Suzanne in Washington, D.C. Suzanne, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Alright, let's go ahead and grab some
We know how important it is to get vaccinated, but also how important the mask mandate is, the mayor's mask mandate. So, habitually, I see police officers in the city, on the ground, talking up close with residents not wearing masks. So I want to know if our law enforcement is not following the mandate. What is the mayor's plan to have the mask mandate enforced amongst the law enforcement? And if law enforcement can't be counted on to follow the mandate, we're in trouble.
Alright, Oakwood
Well, I
Play.
appreciate that question, and I actually
was-
have to
what did I
say,
get that
Kojo, to
for?
DC residents and people in DC,
Oh, you're
they
right,
have done
making
such an
chests.
incredible job following our guidelines and guidance over the last year. We've asked them to do incredible things, including wearing a mask, limiting their travel, limiting their activities.
Oh, you're right, I
And
also
that's
needed
why
to make
we
a
have been
fence.
able
God
to
damn it.
experience lower levels of
okay then.
cases and fatalities
Yeah, just
than we
well,
forecast
I
at
was
this
going to
time
capture
last
some
year. So I
kids,
appreciate that.
you know?
Now, are people getting a little bit tired or lax, perhaps? We've done some mass audits, and we found pretty decent compliance. We have to continue
So
to
I'm just
remind
going to
people,
do
our
a
businesses remind
tree
people, and I'll make sure our
session
chief
here.
is giving a good reminder to our officers.
Speaking of the chief, the D.C. Council's Public Safety Committee unanimously voted to appoint acting Metropolitan Police Chief Robert Conti this week. He still needs to be confirmed by the full council. What are your conversations with Chief County focused on right now?
Well, you can imagine the chief and me, we have a weekly meeting, where we talk, even more often than not, about, how we are approaching, public safety. The chief is engaged also with our new initiative, Building Blocks DC, that is focused, or will be focused on 150 blocks, in DC, where we've seen the most violent crime and the people, who are most associated, with that crime. So we're very, focused, but he's concerned, like we all should be, about increased levels of gun violence and carjackings, that we have seen, in the city. And this is not just a city issue. As I talk to my fellow mayors and he talks to fellow police chiefs, we're seeing this type of, increased violence all across our country. So I was happy to see that the American Rescue Plan and I think the infrastructure plan more recently, includes, how we're infusing services, in areas experiencing violent crime.
One more question on police. The DC Police Reform Commission, the group created by the council last summer after racial justice protests, laid out a number of recommendations this week that call for fewer armed police on the streets, social workers responding to many 911 calls, and a stronger social safety net. Any thoughts on these recommendations?
Well, report, yesterday, so we'll spend some time,
this morning.
reviewing what the findings and recommendations
Need a
are.
refill? Yes. Thanks, Paul.
I've been looking at that Reform Commission report. There's some pretty good stuff in there, but I also have to say that, if you go around and talk to neighborhood associations around the city, you don't hear the neighborhood associations actually put fewer police. Mayor just proposed a report that suggests that the number of police goes from 4,000 down to 3,000. I think we're already around 3,600. I think your view is that you do not want to reduce the size of the police force, and I assume your budget on April 22nd will not reduce the police force.
I didn't read that part, Tom, but if that is the case, that they're recommending 3,000 police officers, that is wholly inadequate, for our city. So we continue to work on our budget. I do think it's fair to say, however, that there are some things, and we've been looking at for more than a year, tasks, things that we have our police officers doing now, that maybe could be taken over by a technology fix or another type of government worker. I always emphasize when people say that, however, that we don't have that many 24/7 public safety type people that work for us. So you would not be saying that we're just going to take tasks away from the police without being able to hire another core set of individuals who are willing to go into sometimes dangerous situations.
I want to give you a chance to comment on the horrific case of Muhammad Anwar, the man who was carjacked on near the baseball park last week or so. I know you said something terrible, how terrible it was. But, he was just delivering food for Uber Eats, and these two juveniles, who cannot discuss just the juveniles, carjacked him, and he died in the incident. Publicly, what have you said about it so people know? It's gotten international attention.
Well, it's disgraceful. My just heart really aches for his family, and it highlights how senseless crime can be, and we see it over and over again in neighborhoods in the district. And frequently it's between people who know each other, and sometimes it's more random like this one. And so that's why we have to really truly be focused on areas where we know we have a lot of violence and people who we know need a lot of help.
Okay, we're trying to get you on the phones, and the lines are busy. You can send us an email if you have a question or comment for the mayor at koju@wmu.org. You can send us a tweet at PoliticsHub. Here now is Elise in Washington, D.C. Elise, you're on the air.
Alright. Dude, fuck you. Alright.
So many years of a great show,
And my question is about parents and children. So I also have to congratulate Tom Sherwood, whose son I met recently at his restaurant, and Mayor Bowser for becoming a parent while in office. My question is about high school graduation and COVID. And I was raised by a single mom in D.C. I'm 50 years old, and my high school graduation was one of the most special memories of my life, commemorating not just my work, but her work. I have a son who graduated last year on Zoom. I have a daughter who's graduating this year. And I'd like to know if the mayor will consider amending the orders or giving waivers for high school graduation so that they can be held outside, so that families can attend in pods, and instead of having a cap on numbers, like, no more than 50 people, depending on caseloads, if the space can accommodate 6 feet of distancing, let the schools arrange it and have as many parents and family pods that can do it under those safe circumstances. We know so much more than we did a year ago when those were put in place. Thank you.
Mayor Bowser?
Yes, the answer to Elise is yes, and also that we may need to hire her to consult with us as part of our waiver process. She sounds like she has it all figured out. But let me say this. We expect on Monday to forecast some loosening of our restrictions for the spring and going into the summer. And we expect to include some guidance on graduations and especially outdoor events. We'll have something to say about indoor events too, but especially outdoor events. I want everybody to kind of think that this period of time is how do you maximize outside activity and looking into the spring, into the summer. I think we'll know a lot more about what these variants are doing. I give a big caveat to that, however, and that is if we see over April levels of infection or variant presence that is concerning, that could cause us to do some things differently. So having said all that, on Monday, we expect to say more about loosening activity.
Ron from Northwest DC called but couldn't stay on the line. Why won't the mayor commit to opening schools?
Alright, but then, puppies, alright, but then.
Schools open and it's doing damage to the children.
Let me correct the caller. We were the first school system in the region to open, and our schools are open right now. We are not accommodating every child in every school who wants to be in school right now. We've gotten updated health guidance. The CDC just commented about 2 weeks ago. We updated our guidance as well. And for term 4, we will be adding seats. And the chancellor is collecting those plans.
Alright, so you need to get cameras though.
As far as the fall goes, we expect very soon to be talking about the fall. Like the caller, I want kids back 5 days a week, all kids in the fall. And that is my expectation moving forward.
Very quickly, the Nats were to have opening tonight.
Also, I'm going to need to cut out some trees for more apples. Because I have enough apples, despite me having a ton of apples. But I still
that the protocols that they have in place have kind of caught the issue that they're having now, and that they are moving forward responsibly. And what that means, unfortunately, is that they had to postpone the big night. But the team and the league are serious about their protocols.
Yeah, I won't have enough apples ever, because I'm constantly eating them.
Will operate
Like every time I go out, I eat apples.
Just like
so like,
the teams that are
like I'm never gonna have enough apples.
I think the fact that they play outside and most of the activity is outside
We'll go to amazing.
Especially at this point in the spring, that outside activities should be our priority.
Okay, so it may go up on Monday. That's good. One more quick question.
Alright,
Deputy Mayor John Pacheco,
alright,
woefully worried that their neighborhood is being consumed by redevelopment, and there's no place for their children to play. The deputy mayor said there would be a temporary playground for the Crummell School, historic school. They want to turn it into a community center. They're asking you to put $20 million in the budget, April 22nd, to start the Crummell School restoration for the people to use it. Will there be money in the budget for Crummell School? It's been sitting dead for 40 years.
Well, we're working on our budget, and the Crummell project has certainly been around a while. We haven't been working on it as long as that. And
Yeah, wool is
we've gone
great, it's
through a
just
rigorous
blocks.
process. So I
Basically
actually
just
have to check
infinite
back
blocks.
and
That's
see
what
where we
wool
are with
is,
that.
in essence.
Ward 7 Councilmember Vincent Gray wants you to use eminent domain to seize the land where a halfway house could be potentially built. He circulated a bill yesterday that will ask the city to, quoting here, declare the existence of an emergency which would allow you to acquire the lot. Is that something you would consider, Mayor Bowser?
I use eminent domain very sparingly, Kojo. It's not something that I would embark on lightly. We have encouraged the Bureau of Prisons to rethink how they do that facility. And we like to see the number of beds to be reduced. And we're going to keep having that conversation with the Bureau of Prisons.
Here now is Maya in Kensington, Maryland. Maya, your turn.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call, Kojo and Tom Sherwood, and it's an honor to ask a question to Mayor Bowser. I'd like to ask you about the Music Venue Relief Act, and if that's on your radar screen right now.
Mayor Bowser?
Tell me more.
Maya?
The Music Venue Relief Act would provide money for venues and also for musicians and for different
Alright, so,
businesses which
but,
help musicians put together shows and events. And I just wondered if that's something you've been.
Well, we've talked about it on this show, Mayor Bowser, how music venues
Yes,
and musicians.
I don't recall where it is at the council right now, but certainly we have considered entertainment venues, which it's been pummeled during COVID. Musicians haven't been able to work. So all of the programs that we have in place, including our Bridge Fund, which was a $100 million investment in DC businesses, there is a bucket in that fund that's focused on venues and entertainment related activities. So I would call your attention to the Bridge Fund.
Mayor Bowser, parents and some council members are concerned about budget cuts to schools, including losing 90 teachers and other staff positions next academic year, despite an infusion of federal stimulus money. Will DCPS be losing staff?
Well, as you know, I haven't finished my budget, so there's been nothing cut. What the chancellor does is to provide school communities an initial budget, and then those school communities are eligible to request more for their needs. The stimulus money that we're getting from federal sources may be added depending on the school need as well. But it is important